Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite topic, tax season, right? April 15th comes up every year, but just because the government's going to make all the money doesn't mean we can't make some ourselves by choosing the right credit card to pay our taxes with. So, of course, we'll cover how taxes work in the world of credit cards and bank promotions, all the options you have and strategies. So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, we'll put this in a few different parts here. We will go through like how taxes work with credit card points. We'll include bank promotions and referrals in there as well. Then we'll go through actually how to pay the taxes and then, some options. Now, I've done more of a deep dive video on this. It's a number of years old, but it should still be valid. The only things that's really changed are the numbers. And so I was thinking about this myself. I'm taping this late February. I don't know if I've received all my tax documents yet. If you know, like all the companies are supposed to send out tax documents by the end of January, but it never really works that way. So I tend to wait till like at least March before actually pressing the file button. And I'm usually just doing it myself in TurboTax. But right now it's shaping up that I will be about $10,000 in the hole. It's like 8 and some change to federal and then the rest to the state. Most of this is going to be federal because there's 50 different states, so the processing fees and such will vary state to state, but that's kind of where we're at, and this is what I was thinking about, so I figured we might as well talk about it together. We're going to be bouncing some ideas off each other. So this first part, again, might be a refresher for some of you, but let's talk about taxes themselves, or the points themselves. I don't know if I have to say it, but, ask a tax advisor or whatever, not a guy on the internet, but there you go. Disclaimer aside. Now we can't be sued. Okay, so as far as rewards go in the credit card space, swiping your card to buy something. You use your AAA Daily Advantage at the grocery store to get 5% back. You get a bunch of reward points for that. Those are not taxable. Why? Because they're considered a rebate. Rebate, if you're old enough to remember, like when you used to buy a phone at Verizon, they'd say the phone is $500, but it's $400 after mail-in rebate. They literally meant you buy the phone for $500, bring the phone home, you take your receipt, the purchase, the UPC deal on the back of it, cut it out of the box, fill out a form, get a stamp, mail it to somebody, and then eventually, maybe between 3 and infinity weeks later, you would literally get that $100 back as a rebate. You get to spend something to get something. That's a rebate. And boy, are we glad we're done with those rebate times, because those are awful. So credit card rewards earned through spend, not taxable. Same thing with intro offers and retention offers. If you have to spend, then you're going to be good to go. You're not going to get any tax documentation for that. Now, or referrals for credit cards, the last one, referrals, like if you were cashing in, well, those Inc. referrals, or Chase is really like the only one that has, right, I guess Amex does too, but they're never really any good compared to like the incognito offers. So it's really probably just Discover does too, I guess. But anyhow, referrals for credit cards, those are taxable. You're not spending to get anything. You're almost considered like a 1099 marketing person or influencer for the brand. So they could send you a 1099 for those. Now on the bank promotion side, those are all taxable, whether you're getting money from opening an account, doing direct deposits, just depositing amount of money, or doing referrals. You're not doing any spend at all, so all of that is taxable. And in this game, that's where the vast majority of my 1099s come from, and I get quite a few, as you can imagine. And I hope you do as well, because this isn't a bad thing. It means you're out there doing, what you're supposed to be doing. And even if you're paying taxes on it, it was still largely free money, especially if it's a direct deposit or referral, right? So bank promotions, yes. Now, another question I always get is who sends 1099s? I don't keep track of it. I think the Doctor Credit does have a list of who generally does. All the banks, every place, not just banks, but they're required, if it's $600 or more, they're required to send out a 1099. If it's less than that, it's up to them. It's still on the user to report it. Do with that information what you will. Generally, they will mail them to you. If you've closed your account, they'll usually mail them to you. The caveat being is sometimes they close your account, but your user profile is still active online. And in some case, you'll get a notification to go in and download your 1099. And there you go. But yeah, it's same as like, they'll either come as 1099 INT or 1099 MISC for miscellaneous. So there you go. That's the crash course on taxes. Now, again, when we're talking about the federal level, I'm paying your income taxes. It's actually, well, so I want to say it's not too bad, but it's a lot better than you'd think. Certainly better than the state level. So if you put this up, we'll put the screen up from the IRS. When you're ready to pay, you can go straight to the IRS to make a payment. There used to be 3 options, but now there's just 2, which is fine because you can see they tell you the percentage that they're going to charge, and you can see the options here. So, to pay 1040 is the one that I'm going to use. I used it last year because that processing fee is 1.75% by credit card, as we're paying by credit card for ACI payments is 1.85. The good news, as you can see, is they're both below 2%. So obviously, be fine. But you even go down the list here, they even tell you debit and credit cards that are accepted, digital wallets. They also have click to pay and PayPal, which will be an option later. So there you go. Like that's really it. Again, I've done a whole walkthrough on paying your taxes. It was years ago, but I mean, again, it's just really entering in your information there. Now your state, like my state of Michigan, it works the same way, just the processing fees are much higher. I don't think they're over 3, but I think they're like 2.8, 2.6, 2.8%. So whether you want to, pay your taxes by credit card over there or not, it's going to depend on, whatever strategy you get into. But overall, you can see not too bad because that processing fee is so low. Generally, processing fees, we assume 3%, right? But I've seen places that charge much more. I had a plumber say it's 4%. Places where I buy my washes from online, that gray dealer charges 3.5%, just to make sure they're never coming out of pocket for a processing fee. So there you go, really not too bad. So as a result, I mean, we don't have to go too far on the strategy list, right? Because again, for federal income tax, well, you'll still come out ahead using a double cash or a active cash or the SoFi card or what have you. On the travel side, a Venture X cards to get 2x back on all purchases. You'll be fine. You won't make a ton of money. You'll make a tiny bit of money, and that's fine. Why not? You got to pay it anyways. You might not make some. Might as well make some. Like most things with a processing fee, I believe it'll be 2 charges. It'll be one for your taxes, and then there'll be another one for the transaction fee. But again, because it'll be 2x back on everything, not a big deal. Now it's important to note here, because we got the obvious out of the way first. There's some 2 cards that are probably top of mind that I just want to mention because they're not going to work. And that is Robinhood Gold and U.S. Bank's Smartly card. There's probably others, but these are the more popular ones. Robinhood Gold's already come out and said, it was a while ago, like, hey, we're not paying. The transaction might go through. I don't think they block it, but they're not paying out rewards on taxes. There's a load of other things as well, but for our purposes, it's taxes, right? And Smartly as well said they're not paying above. I believe they will pay the 2%, but they won't pay more. So whether you're on the old Smartly card, the new Smartly card, whatever. Again, by now, Smartly was near and dear to my heart. Those won't. Robinhood Gold, I don't think any points. Smartly will be a base 2 card, not anything extra. So just keep that in mind. Now, the options, well, the first one, aside from 2x cards, are, of course, intro offers. If you're going to go intro offers, you could try to get a bunch of different intro offers depending on how high your tax bill is, or it's probably better off to go after a business card. I would say business cards generally have the higher amount of spend, plus your business cards, it'll be either a 1x or you can get a 1.5x card. I know a few weeks ago, on the second channel, Run on the Bank, we covered Business Bank of America Unlimited Cash, which is a base 1.5x card, and was paying out like $500 after $6,000 in spend. Again, because that 1.5 is going to get you very close to wiping out that whole processing fee, and you've got your remainder of the intro offer left over. Something like that would be fine. I'm not going to list a ton of intro offers here because then this just won't age well, and so. But that's the obvious one, intro offers. Myself, I looked at the Sapphire Reserve business. I just missed out on like the higher offer. And so I decided, given that's like a $700 annual fee card, I would like to just wait and see when that higher offer comes back. I'm not in a real rush. So that's the obvious one. Again, what I will do, my answer is going to be Bank of America Unlimited Cash plus Preferred Rewards. Again, there's not enough time for you to just sign up and get into Preferred Rewards immediately, but I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. So my Unlimited Cash card, it's going to be a base 2.6 card because of Preferred Rewards at Platinum Honors. Now, another asterisk here that we know Bank of America is reworking Preferred Rewards, and we'll see what the future holds, but for right now, it's 2.6, which would be fine, but since this card I got the intro offer from last September, which makes it base 2%, which stacks with Preferred Rewards. It's 3.1% for me. and that's what I'm going to use. And that's kind of the reason why I decided I'm not going to go after a bunch of intro offers. Getting a little bit off topic, but I've got a plan to get back in the intro offer game. I'm trying to get my 524 score way down, my credit inquiries way down, so I know I can get some approvals in the second half of the year. So I might as well use this elevated 3.1 while I have it. I can save those intro offers for property tax come summertime, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Now, another contender for me in the cashback space that I thought about and still am thinking about for subsequent years is the PayPal credit card. Because if you go to pay 1040, you can see that at the very bottom of the list of payments, it does say, well, they listed it on the sheet. We don't even have to go that far. It does say PayPal. And so the PayPal credit card does get 3% back on all PayPal purchases. I looked around on Reddit threads. I didn't see anyone say this doesn't work. And, 3% is probably going to be the best we could do on this. Now, PayPal credit card, I don't think is good for too much else. I don't use PayPal a lot, but again, I have dedicated cards for online. But for a few time a year use case, I think the PayPal credit card is, I don't want to say on my short list, but it's going to be on my list of cards I might want to consider just to try to maximize everything I can earn in a year. Because it'll cover that, things like insurance, where these other cards that we name, like Robinhood, Smartly, things like that, they don't want to pay out on those. So PayPal credit card is probably your next best option in cashback land. Now, in addition to that, the Ink Cash comes to mind if you wanted to buy Visa reloads at Staples, specifically Staples or office supply stores when they go on sale and they waive the processing fees. I have an Ink Cash. I'm not going to do this. I find it annoying because one, I think they're only selling them increments of 200. There used to be limits on like how many different purchases you could make through these payment networks, through IRS taxes. I think it's going to take a while to do. I mean, you just buy a ton of them to get to 10 grand. And plus you got to use them fairly quickly. The scammers will end up, finding out the numbers and swiping your cash. So I don't really think it's worth it, but it is technically an option that people do. If you just buy regular gift cards from the grocery store, between the activation fee and the processing fee here, it's not going to be worth it. I've seen folks say online the U.S. Bank Cash Plus worked if you select utilities. I can't imagine this actually codes as utilities, but this came up more than once in my searching around for cards to use. And so it might. I wouldn't try it, but it could work. In the past, Chase has had PayPal as a category on the Freedom Card, so you could also prepay your taxes as well. If a category came up throughout the year that was helpful. Again, this strategy is not going to be for everyone. Some people have to do quarterly tax payments. You just make sure you grab that receipt. And I think when you're filling out your tax software, it'll ask you, have you made quarterly payments, and ask you to enter them in there. So it's a normal thing. I wouldn't be too worried about it. But if you want to be on top of it, you see something advantageous throughout the year, and you're going to owe, like I know I'm going to owe, well then that could definitely be an option as well. The Freedoms just come to mind because they had PayPal in Q4. So you could definitely done something like that. And again, the last two are travel ones. If you're like hotel free award nights, some of those Hilton cards, if you spend so much money, they will, give you a free night award, which you can put at a tremendously high value if you want, because, there's no, there's very few restrictions on those. You can use them in the majority of properties. You can use them on the weekends. You can use them in the crazy places like the Waldorf Astorias and things of that nature. So that could definitely be an option. Of course, you'll make some base Hilton points or whatnot. You might, you'll get hit by the processing fee, but that award night, if you value that higher than the processing fee when you're there, then there you go. Airline status, also another one. A lot of these airline cards, part of the way they want, or the majority of the way they want you to get to status is through spend. So if you're someone like that, who's got like a Delta Reserve maybe, it's got the medallion qualifying dollar multipliers, and you value status, you can of course use that as well. And then in travel, if you're just looking for a bunch of points, you can get some crazy high cent per point redemption for them, then so be it. I think those tend to be very rare use cases of people who are actually getting 3, 4, 5 cents or whatever it is a point for their redemptions, but there are some people who can do it. So overall, not too crazy. The one thing I will say is I think we're probably running out. I would guess we're running out of time with this. I would imagine the reason some of these cards like Robinhood and Smartly don't like to pay taxes or reward points is, one, because it's such easy money for the consumer, but two, because the processing fee is simply so low here there's just not that much to go around and offset these higher rewards, right? Like I can imagine a point where PayPal says no eventually, or even some of these other cards start to do it because there's just not that much of a processing fee to go around. And I gotta imagine if you're paying your taxes with your credit card, you're not carrying a balance. It would be simpler to get a payment plan through the IRS than it will be to pay your credit card interest rate. So I would imagine they're just not seeing a lot. So I don't know how much longer this is going to last. I understand that it's not, as we looked at it, it's not that much money. You're looking at a quarter of a point in most cases with a base 2% card. But again, as we always said, over the course of a year, this money does add up. So I intend to do that. Again, like I said, Bank of America for me this year. And the next year, I will seriously consider the PayPal card simply for this use case. Downside of the PayPal cards, I can't imagine they're giving really high credit limits. So you're probably going to have to cycle through it a few times. But overall, I mean, you really just have to sit in a chair and press pay, so it's not the worst thing in the world. So that is a tax game for this year, tax strategy for this year for me. Nothing too crazy, but let me know what you come up with. Again, like we say, just because the government's going to make their money doesn't mean you can't make your own. So of course, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week, and of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, every single day over on ProfitableContent.com, which is the channel's blog. Always link down below for you, as well as on the channel homepage with the latest news stories, bank promotions, and credit card offers. Some stuff to get you started, either getting a ton of 1099s or earning points and paying offset 1099s. But either way, guys, that'll do for this one. As always, thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you very soon in the next one.